Captain Jake Butler spoke to the local newspapers here during the week and made an attempt to downplay that target. And the job here is to tip Amicale out at the semi-final stage. Now Amicale might not travel so well, but you'd be hard-pressed to find a team that boasted around 15 internationals that are sprinkled throughout the squad. They're going to have to make their own bit of history today if they're going to make it to their second OFC Champions League final. If you may recall, they played Auckland City a couple of seasons ago. They were well beaten over 2 legs, 6-1 on aggregate. The first goal today will be so crucial. If Amicale get it, then it's going to be game on for Waitakere. It would just put more pressure on Amicale and make the task even harder for the Richard EY coach side. If they were to manage to level things, it could get interesting here. We're underway at Fred Taylor Park. Waitakere United attacking the car park end of this venue. Chad Coombs launches a ball into the penalty area for Ryan de Vries, picked up by Chikau Mansale. Nelson Saleh. Solomon Islands international, formerly with Young Heart Manawatu and Auckland City very briefly. Tim Myers for Coombs. Chris Palmer. Roy Krishna, that's a delicate touch, and he's linked one through for Chad Coombs. Still with Coombs, there's a cross and Mansale claims it. So frenetic start, Waitakere going for the throat early on. Nawo's through ball for Yalu. It's cleared by Tim Myers. Tangis. Suleiman Sarr with a long ball forward, headed clear by Waitakere. Aaron Scott helps it on. Jack Whitney, also a Solomon Islands international, and made the early part of his career name playing futsal in the Solomon Islands. Jake Butler for Tim Myers. Well, we talk about Waitakere United's extraordinary record this season of just 2 defeats in 25 games, and curiously enough, both of those losses happened here. They were beaten 3-2 in the ASB Premiership by Canterbury United back in February. And of course in April they lost to Auckland City here 3-1, which just gives you an impression of how well Waitakere have travelled this season, unbeaten away from home. Let's have a look at this cross. It's Ryan de Vries who was the spare player. He just was rocked on his heels as Chikau Mansale came to claim that. Ryan Shelley restarts. Myers. Tristan Prattley punches the ball forward for Krishna. Saleh manages to get in front of the Fijian. Well, I spoke with some of the Amicale officials prior to kick-off, and there was a feeling that they could perhaps take a leaf out of the book of AS Dragon, who came here in the early part of April and grabbed a 0-0 draw. perception being that an organised and disciplined approach might yield results for them. That's a good ball played forward by Brian Shelley for Chad Coombs. Coombs couldn't keep it in, so we restart with an Amicale throw. Kenzie Tungis puts it out again, so it's with Aaron Scott. Good turn by De Vries. Ball into the near post. Interesting clearance. It's a corner for Waitakere.
You were meant to go and get it out of my leaderboard.
Well, they pose so much danger on the offensive from these set plays, whether it's Chad Coombs or Chris Palmer who takes these dead ball opportunities. We've seen a lot of Waitakere set plays aimed at the near post as they go near this time. They've certainly got a lot of strings to their bow, Waitakere on attack. Palmer lofted into the near post. Mansale slaps the ball away. Taken quickly by Matthews. Krishna. Palmer with the cross. Amicale just living on vapours at the moment. Waitakere pressing their territorial advantage as much as they can. Coombs, Butler, now Palmer. Opportunity for Krishna. Kenzie Tungis clears it, but only as far as Chris Palmer. It's back with Matthews. Shelley switch of play. Pratley. Amicale have reset. Waitakere are now trying to probe for openings. Shelley goes all the way back to his goalkeeper.
Push him up, tuck in.
Robinson's long ball is headed out by Sammy Calaros. There is another look at the corner. Look at Mansale. Just came out with two open palms and really slapped the ball rather than opting for a punch. Shelley, under pressure from Yalu. All the way back to Robinson again. Waitakere would be very happy to take a patient approach to opening up this Amicale defence as we see Myers popping a ball over the top for Pratley. It's got too much power on it and goes out for a throw. Patience, patience, patience was the watchword prior to kick-off amongst the Amicale contingent. And upon review of the first leg in Port Vila, you can perhaps understand why they're reluctant to open up and throw the kitchen sink, as it were, in trying to halve this deficit. They certainly had their problems at the back to contend with in the first leg. As we see the free kick wound in, it's picked up by De Vries, popped over for Coombs. That's a good first touch by Coombs. Butler's ball's a useful one, and this is a repeat perhaps of those problems that we saw for the Amicale defence last week. Whenever they're isolated against Roy Krishna, the centre halves, they're in all sorts of trouble. If you can recall that first goal that Waitakere scored in that game last week, Roy Krishna had to make up a lot of space on a centre half before he toe-poked the ball past the goalkeeper. Such a dangerous striker to come up against for any back four. Yalu racing in to shut down Pratley, who lofts the ball forward, headed clear by the Amicale defence as far as Matthews. Nice touch by Krishna. Still going Krishna. Amicale have got a free kick. Early warning signs, though, for Nelson Saleh Khalifa. Wary of the pace of Roy Krishna, who's been in such tremendous form all season. Aaron Scott, nice touch by him. Robinson's clearance is too powerful for De Vries to keep in. Tanguis is working the sideline with these long throws. Yalou comes short. Butler's intercepted with a header. Masavakalo. Jack Wetney, now Tanguis winds in a ball to the edge of the Waitakere goal box. Lovely touch by Coombs. Krishna. Opportunities to involve Palmer. That's a good ball in by Palmer, and it forced Samuel Kautonga into panicked clearance. Chad Coombs was hunting for any mistakes. And this certainly is a problem for Amicale. They're getting stretched on those counter-attacks when they give the ball away, and some of the defensive work is certainly getting close examination from the Waitakere front three, which occasionally is consisting of Chad Coombs as well, who's pushing quite high as he winds in this corner again to the near post. It's away by Calaros. Suleiman Sarr knocked it forward. Waitakere have been unable to bring the ball down and craft something. It's with Chika Mansale. Samuela Kautonga. Khalifa. Masavakalo under pressure. Sarr plays it wide. Khalifa clipped in for Yalou. That's a lovely touch from Jean-Robert Yalou. Possession turned over. Clever ball. Krishna was almost away. Tried to bustle his way between the two defenders, Tensi Tanguis and Samuela Kautonga. No such luck this time. Well, Amicale have had success in the past over New Zealand opposition. Last season they brought to an end Auckland City's unbeaten record. No foul there, by the way, looking at that replay, but they defeated Auckland City 1-0 in Port Vila. And Auckland had been on an unbeaten run somewhere in the region of 40 matches in the OC Champions League. And although that match was perhaps a dead rubber, with Auckland having already qualified, it's still a remarkable result for the Vanuatu champions, and they might be able to draw on that experience here today. We'll see. Amicale battling for everything. They've come up with it. They're going to need some numbers in the penalty area if they're going to capitalise off the position they've found themselves in. They've got a corner. Opportunity perhaps for the visitors to put some pressure of their own on the home side. What can they produce? Jean-Robert Yalou will take it. And understandably, Amicale have sent in, let's see, 6 players in the penalty area, 1 lingering on the edge. It's gone into the far post. That's a good jump. And a goal kick is given. Suleiman Sarr was the danger man here as Yalou wound this cross in this corner. Look at the jump, and Danny Robinson did just enough. Isn't that good goalkeeping? Just got a glove on it, and that was all it required to take the ball just slightly offline from Suleiman Sarr's leap. There's a man who wears his heart on his sleeve, Paul Marshall. think he would be reasonably satisfied so far with Waitakere's domination of possession. Amicale haven't really opened them up as yet. I just wonder if this game stays goalless. The longer it stays goalless, whether or not Amicale might choose to change their approach. I mean, needs must as the devil rides. They do need to score goals. They can't afford to concede too many or any. Yalu has done well. Plays it wide to the right. Back with Yalu. Hooks a ball in. It's a wayward one. De Vries doing some defending. Now Butler. Krishna's first touch let him down. Kensi Tangis. Suleiman Sarr. Masavakalo back for Sarr. Whitney. And play breaks down. Paul Nom. The man sporting the blonde Mohican. Pratley. Tim Myers. There's Jake Butler coming short. Surveys his options going forward. Opens up and switches play for Shelley, the centre half. Does like to run with the ball and try and overload the thirds, and that's what's happened here. Chance for Coombs, perhaps. The shot, good save by Chika Mansale. Excellent play from Waitakere United, and the save was excellent as well. It all started from Brian Shelley's run, and then Chad Coombs, he was under pressure. Couldn't really get as much power on the shot. There still was a lot of swerve and plenty for Chika Mansale to do. And it's a corner for Waitakere. And it's going to be Coombs to take it. So another variation perhaps. Let's have a look. It's going to be with the right foot as opposed to Palmer taking it with his left on that side. Goes into the far post and cleared by Mansale, who comes at it again. Well, he took an extraordinary risk there, Chika Mansale, but he's got away with it. Palmer can't beat Yalu. Well, that's a foul throw. Basic stuff. And Amicale can ill afford to hand Waitakere these type of advantages. Tristan Pratley takes the throw. As far as Butler, trying to work himself into a position to offload to Coombs, but Amicale were pressing high out of defence. Palmer, Pratley whips in across, hoisted away by Kautonga. Matthews can't get a hold of it. Myers is battling for it, tried to pick out De Vries. Kensi Tangis ever watchful at left back for Amicale. Now Paul Nom. Sarr. Nom. Into Jean-Robert Yalu. Paul Nom picks it up, goes to ground. Referee has spotted an infringement. That's a free kick to Amicale. Well, there's plenty of opportunities for Richard Ewai to change this game up if he looks at his bench. Alphonse Bongheim and Dominique Fred are two players with a lot of experience as we see this free kick taken quickly. The long range shot has broken kindly. Oh, Masavakalo was looking for it. Suleiman Sarr with a shot. Deflected. Still with Amicale. Yalu. Pratley. And this is what Krishna's so good at, just beating a centre half. He's got himself a free kick as well. Roy Krishna. Krishna makes defenders think when he's running towards goal, but he's not too bad at his work when he's got his back to it as well. Tangis takes the throw quickly. Suleiman Sarr. Interesting option by Sarr, looking for Paul Nom, who wins the header. So Amicale just starting to grow to the task. You get the feeling that they've got through that first 10 or 15 minutes or so, and they're starting to find their feet. Tangis. Sarr's got a free kick. Chad Coombs has been judged to have fouled his opponent. And in protest, he waves away at the referee, Kader Zatuni. Passionate character, Chad Coombs. Certainly had a wonderful season, wonderful first season for Waitakere since making the switch from Auckland City. Advantage played. And Sam Matthews is brought down by Jack Whitney. Myers. Prattley shut down very quickly by Paul Nom, but it's shut down illegally as Kader Zatuni awards a free kick the way of the home side. Here is Brian Shelley, who stayed forward. Jake Butler, first time into the box for Coombs. Down goes the defender, tries to backheel at Coombs, and the offside flag is raised. The assistant referee, Terry Pitti, spotted an offside. The flag was up quickly. And I think that showed Coombs was perhaps a yard offside at the time the ball was played. Nom. Yalu goes for a delicate touch, and it's been read by Jake Butler, but somehow Amicale have come away with it. Kensi Tangis, Jack Whitney, Samuela Kautonga. Well, just out of your picture, Amicale have pushed 4 players forward at times. Fenity Masavakalo, the midfielder, joining Paul Nom up top, bringing it to a 4, but this is where they're vulnerable now. Coombs goes for a chip shot. It's it's coped with just by Chika Mansali. Intelligent piece of play by Coombs. And that's what's going to happen as Amicale look to try and get extra players forward. They are vulnerable on that counter-attack. Perhaps they can launch a counter of their own. Amicale arriving, and Jean-Robert Yalou's shot is high and wide. Look at this effort from Chad Coombs. Had plenty of space to measure it. Mansale just palmed it down. It was awkward and unconvincing, but effective. Paul Marshall pacing that touchline. Waitakere coach. Aaron Scott trying to overlap from De Vries's pass. Too much of an ask for the New Zealand All-White. Aaron Scott. Jack Whitney. Tangis. Nice switch of play by Tangis to bring Nelson Saleh Khalifa into the match. He goes long. Myers takes it on the chest. And the clearance deep into Amicale territory. Well, Waitakere are defending in such a compact fashion that every now and then Amicale might be forced into some of these longer balls, as we see Kautonga try and change the approach with a marauding run from centre half. Now Khalifa tries the same. Yalou playing a ball in behind Prattley. Prattley tries to work it away for a goal kick and succeeds. Well, the feature of Waitakere United this season has also been the fact that even when they've been under the pump and conceding goals, they've managed to somehow produce some of their own fireworks in front of goal in response. They beat Hawke's Bay United 6-4 in an ASB Premiership semi-final here, and then beat Auckland City 4-3 in the grand final, also at this venue. They're a team with plenty of sharpness at the top end, the business end of the pitch. They're just finding this Amicale side difficult to break down at the moment. Krishna can't get the ball out of his feet. Picked up by Whitney. Suleiman Saar, good play from Paul Nom with the back heel. Fenedi Masavakalo. Whitney, Nom, Paul Nom. And it's taken quickly by Brian Shelley, but I think Kate Zatuni will bring the ball back. So we're in the 25th minute. Waitakere United 0, Amicale 0. Waitakere lead on aggregate by 2 goals to nothing. Auckland City await the victor of this tie. And looking back on the records, well, that's a bit of a wild one given away by Tim Myers. A chance for Robert Yalou. Pops it through for Paul Nom. Oh, and he's miscued completely. Well, there's some anxiety down on the Waitakere United bench after that. That was a self-inflicted situation of panic by Waitakere. Just a lapse in concentration, and thankfully for the home side at least, they're not punished for it. Chris Palmer. Coombs. Now Krishna, who's taken up a position on the left. Coombs more central. Palmer's got 2 targets at the far post. One is Ryan De Vries. Can he find him? He's overhit the cross. Kensi Tangi's clearance isn't a convincing one. Straight back into the danger zone. Butler with a flick. Away by Samuela Kautonga. Throw-in goes Amicale's way. Masavakalo. Tangis. Well read by Tim Myers. Picked up by the hard-working Sam Matthews. Tries to toe poke one through for Palmer. Coombs tidies up the dregs. But Palmer's given the ball away. Whitney. Kelleros back to Khalifa Saleh. Kautonga. Kensi Tangis. Suleiman Saar. This is a good spell of play for Amicale. Jack Whitney. Well, he went high with his studs there, actually. I thought that that might have gone the other way on first glance. We can take another look at that. Now, look, both players, in fact, had their studs up. And it was Coombs who was penalised. Whitney heading to the sideline for some running repairs. Well, Amicale are down to 10 players momentarily. Jack Whitney has left the field of play. Tangis. So extraordinary stuff. Amicale down to 10. We're not quite sure what's going on with Jack Whitney. Masavakalo. Joses Nawo. And the cross to the far post is out for a goal kick. Almost half an hour gone. Waitakere 0, Amicale 0. Jack Whitney is returning to the field of play. He's with the fourth official, Matt Conga, and is back on for Vanuatu champions as we see De Vries look to attack Kensi Tangis. No way forward, back to Aaron Scott. Scott's ball was a reasonable one, but De Vries unable to chase it down.
Get on your toes. Get in this game. Come on.
Kautonga. Tangis goes long, trying to turn it into a foot race between Aaron Scott and Joseph Nawo. Nawo takes the throw for Yalu to pick up, but Sam Matthews mops up for Waitakere. Now they can counter-attack perhaps, not this time. Nelson Saleh picks it up for Paul Nom, and the attack breaks down.
Go quickly.
Jake Butler. Straight to Tangis, and this is becoming more and more frequent for Waitakere, just turning possession over. It's almost an open invitation for Amicale to get back into the game, but having said that, they haven't created too many clear-cut chances. In fact, I can't really remember one. It's been a war of attrition so far. Krishna spots Chad Coombs. He's going to need some sort of help from Waitakere teammate. He's found Chris Palmer. Palmer aims for De Vries. It's cleared by Kautonga. As far as Myers. Palmer judged to have fouled Samuel Caleros. Free kick taken quickly by Saleh. It's found Solomon Islands compatriot Joseph Nawo. Waitakere's defence holding firm. Nawo trying to hunt down Scott. Matthews plays it into De Vries. Scott, Matthews, De Vries, that triumvirate again. Now Krishna, this is a good move from Waitakere. He's going to need numbers in the box. Awkward cross for Khalifa to deal with, but he has done. And De Vries and Krishna just getting each other's way, and it's back with Amicale. Myers takes it off Paul Nom. Butler. Prattley for Palmer. Launches a ball into the penalty area. Kautonga does well to win the header off Krishna. Suleiman Sarr. Well, some of these passes just not sticking for Amicale at the moment, and finding it difficult to get through. Look at that. Krishna and De Vries usually so slick in the top third, just getting into a tangle with each other. Krishna has 5 goals in the OFC Champions League for this season. Waitakere's top goal scorer in the competition, and in the ASB Premiership as well. He was the Golden Boot there. Of course, Sani Issa of Bar is the Golden Boot leader in this season's OFC Champions League with 9. He won't add to that total. Bar out of the competition, of course. Long ball forward by Robinson. Matthews picks up the bits and pieces. De Vries trying to go through the middle. There's plenty of space on the right for Chad Coombs to exploit. De Vries didn't spot him. And let's not forget what the prize is, of course, for the winner today. A place in the OFC Champions League final, a one-off final this season. Past 4 or 5 editions of the Oceania Club Continental competition have been played over 2 legs, stretching back to 2007. And the winner of that, of course, will bag a place at the FIFA Club World Cup in Morocco in December this year. And with it, they will pick up around $500,000 for themselves, their federation, and fellow clubs in their country. So it's not just the fate and fortunes of individual clubs that are on the line.
Okay, stop.
It's almost, well, it is in a literal sense a shared fate, if you like, as teams in the domestic leagues around Oceania rely so much on this prize money. As we see Masavakalo taken down, that could be a yellow card. Keita Zatuni is going to have a word to Jake Butler. Masavakalo had a real head of steam up, and I think Butler knew it. Masavakalo was the top goal scorer in the OFC Champions League about 3 seasons ago, and it was, as you say, a professional foul perhaps. Masavakalo can of course hit them from close range and long range, and he was moving into the danger zone. So it will be Fenedi Masavakalo to take this free kick. Waitakere United have 9 players on the edge of their own penalty area. They've got a wall of 5 players. Amicale have got 6 forward, 7 including Masavakalo. Masavakalo with a free kick, hits the wall. No, oh, it's in! Amicale have scored! Joses Nawo with a fantastic goal. Well, I have to say, when the ball broke to him, I wasn't entirely certain that he would be able to get anything on it. More fool me, he certainly got everything on it. It hit the base of the crossbar. Look at this, from long range. Thumped into the bar, hit the goalkeeper, into the back of the net. Amicale lead 1-0, it's 2-1 on aggregate. And suddenly this tie is blown wide open. The Solomon Islander has given his Vanuatu club a 1-0 lead, a precious goal. How will the New Zealand champions respond? Well, De Vries has gone into the book. Paul Norm is the player who has gone down. Extraordinary stuff. What a moment that is for Amicale. This is not going to the script that Waitakere were reading off. Certainly a great many of us certainly felt they were firm favourites, but at the moment their lead is a slender one, 2-1 on aggregate. And it might just shake Waitakere into life. Suleiman Sarr. Nelson Saleh Khalifa bringing it forward. Clips a long ball in behind Tim Myers, looking for Jean-Robert Yalou. Tim Myers has done the defending. Amicale have a throw deep in Waitakere territory. Oh, good turn by Nawe. Has a shot, goes across the face of goal. It's away by Jake Butler. Kautonga. Suleiman Sa. Jack Whitney. Confidence now surging through this Amicale side. Waitakere are in bits and pieces at the moment, still trying to absorb what's happened. They have launched that clearance. 10 or so yards inside Amicale territory. Aaron Scott pushed off the ball by the goal scorer, Nawo. Extraordinary stuff from the visitors today. Samuela Kautonga. Tight ball to give Jack Whitney, who just let the ball run through. Now De Vries. Paul Nom has earned a free kick. Well, this is extraordinary. Who would have picked this score approaching half-time? Waitakere United 0, Amicale 1. 2-1 on aggregate for the West Aucklanders. Sale's free kick. Nawo heads it down. Oh, and a chance for Masavakalo. Good save by Danny Robinson. Well, the chance is starting to come more regularly for Amicale. Suleiman Sa picks up the second phase ball. Masavakalo going on a run. Aaron Scott combines with Matthews. Look at Amicale. They're trying to press Waitakere all over the place at the moment, such as their confidence. Look at this shot from Masavakalo. Good save by Danny Robinson, who had a quick look over his right shoulder just to see if he had calibrated that dive correctly, and he had. It was on target, very much so. Now De Vries, who's popped up on the left-hand side for Waitakere. Can he get a cross in? He's got a corner. What a time this would be for Waitakere to score a goal. Chad Coombs will take the corner. Brian Shelley heads to the near post. It goes to the far. Butler's header. No, it's away by Kautonga. And Jean-Robert Yalou has conceded a corner on the other side, and it'll be Chris Palmer who will take this one. So left-footed, in-swinging near-post corner, perhaps. No, he's going to take it with the right. Potential targets, Brian Shelley. Jake Butler, it's gone to the far post. There's no Waitakere player close to that set play. And Amicale have a free kick. Well, only one other club from Vanuatu has made the OFC Champions League final before. That was Tawhea. So we see this long ball forward, well dealt with by Tim Myers, but Amicale have pressed high, looking for seconds. Now Waitakere can maybe move this ball forward quickly and exploit some of the space that has been left behind. Ryan Shelley. Myers. Shelley's got space to move into. We know how he likes to get involved in these attacks. Palmer. Target is Coombs. De Vries's first touch was a heavy one. Oh, and that's given straight to Aaron Scott. Krishna looking to line one up, goes to ground. It's a goal kick. Krishna looks as though he's worn one in the face. Might have been a flailing arm. Tries to go by Samuela Kautonga, but Kautonga just slipped the shoulder in front of Roy Krishna. As we see Paul Marshall scribbling furiously on that pad. He's certainly got plenty to say at half-time, I'd imagine. Plenty of Ni Vanuatu supporters here too, by the way. And interesting ball forward. As referee Keita Zatuni brings the first half to a close. And what an extraordinary first 45 minutes we've had here at Fred Taylor Park. Amicale lead Waitakere United by 1-0. The goal by Solomon Islands International Joseph Nawo on 27 minutes. Waitakere lead on aggregate by 2-1. And what an interesting first half. And just 5 minutes in, this corner from Waitakere slapped away by Chika Mansale. The danger at the near post, unorthodox but effective. 11 minutes later, Waitakere created this opportunity. It came from a run by Brian Shelley, in fact. And then Chad Coombs had a shot. It was veering away from Chika Mansale. The two Amicale defenders did well to put pressure on the Kiwi midfielder. And Mansale did the rest. Certainly on target and at a good height for Mansale to cope with. Chad Coombs was in on the act again. Nice long-range attempt by him, and Mansale was scrambling to deal with it. He got his hands right, the footwork was good enough as well. Worth a pop, but not enough to outsmart Mansale. Then with 9 minutes to go before the halftime break, Masavakolo's free kick struck the wall, and then look at that shot from Joseph Nawo. Dipped at the last, hit the base of the crossbar, hit the back of Danny Robinson, who was so unlucky. And Amicale took the lead, 1-0, and a forlorn Danny Robinson. Smiles aplenty for Joseph Nawo and delight on the Amicale bench. So confirmation at half-time. Amicale lead Waitakere United by 1-0. Waitakere lead 2 on an aggregate. Join us back here in 4 or 5 minutes' time for the second half.